Hello, hello. Hi, welcome to the Gutenberg Secret Show on YouTube, on the Gutenberg Times channel. So I'm happy that you're all here. And what we're going to talk about today is a few things, but I want this in comparison to last week where I had some technical problems, and I think I was able to take care of them. I don't have this echo anymore, so I hope you can still hear me. And you can also see stuff. We have, again, two screens. I have this camera right in front of me, and when I want to demo something like that, something like a block or a process, I'm going to switch over to the other computer and show it from here. So we can also see this. You can see it on your screens, and then those who listen to the CAD version, it is still visible on the video and not in a small little icon or something like that. So this is the second session of the secret tips for Gutenberg and live Q&A on the Gutenberg Times channel. This site or this session or show is brought to you, is sponsored by Pantheon, which is a WordPress and Drupal hosting company where marketers and developers host, build, and market their sites. We have been very fortunate, I have been very fortunate that Pantheon sponsors Gutenberg Times as a whole for the last 6 months, and also makes this possible. So big thank you to Pantheon. It's also sponsored by Polysystems. This is actually my own company where we build web online business solutions for small businesses, nonprofits, as well as personalities like political candidates, artists, writers, those who have a lot of content and need to get it out to the world. And we help them set up small sites as well as enterprise level sites. We also work with publishers, small publishers, and just smaller and not so much the big publishers, but we are specialized in integration of social media, of different kind of business models, and also different kind of media. And WordPress, of course, is our platform of choice. So let's see if we get a few questions already on the show. No, so I'm just going to continue. It was a big 2 weeks. The last show was September 14th, and I was already showing some of the showing off some of the features that were about to come to 3.9. One of them was the reusable blocks as block collection to work. So I'll show this off again today with a 3-column block with an icon, a header, and some text, and then so you can see how you can reuse them. I also wanted to show you a new blog, which is called the Gutenstats blog, and it has some numbers, and I'm going to just go over here and pull this up. Right. Oops. But then you can see it here. Yes, so it's Gutenberg in numbers. So it's 450,000 installations, and as far as I know, that's actually over 251,000 posts written, and just yesterday, 6,264 posts were written. in Gutenberg. So where do those numbers come from? They come from, and there's a little smaller caveat there, those post statistics is only counted on WordPress.com and Jetpack sites. And since late August 2018, so it's about a month ago, and the actual numbers, of course, much higher, because not every self-hosted website uses the Jetpack plugin. So that was what I wanted to show you. And I also like the little animation when it comes in. It doesn't work on Gutenberg, but it would work on Firefox. So I'm not going to show this off now. But that was the new Gutenberg stats blog with a few numbers. I hope we get a few more numbers when time comes, like how many blocks they use and these kind of things. So what else? What's new? Matthias Ventura is the developer lead for Gutenberg, and he has published a blog post called An Update on the Gutenberg Task. And and when you scroll through it, it's kind of it's quite the list. Starts up here and goes all the way down. I have not counted how many there are. It's probably a good exercise. And that pretty much covers the MVP, the minimum viable product that Gutenberg team wanted to put out to merge with Core before it merges with Core. And so it can be distributed then to more than a few 100,000 sites. However, through the period of testing, which is it's now about 2 months. The 4.9.8 with the Gutenberg prompt came out on August 2nd. And a lot of feedback has come in. And about a week or 2 ago, WordPress.com started rolling out Gutenberg to its users on an opt-in basis. And of course, another set of feedback came back, and the Gutenberg team realized that there are a few things that need to be definitely leveled up a bit in terms to be as broadly viable as an option for people to build their posts and their pages with it. So they expanded the list of features that Gutenberg should have before it goes into the core. And that's what this post is for. There's also a second section called, okay, there are remaining tasks for additional enhancements. And when you look at the post and after the show, you can go through that. I would just want to pick a few, 3 or 4 things that I find really exciting. One is, of course, is the text and image side by side, which shows a block. It's still in development, and that has an image on the left, one on the right, and then text on the side. So it would look something like this, like with a tall image and a text in there. And the significance is for those who have used Gutenberg already a bit, you know that having text aligned or wrapped around an image is still a little bit wonky, I call it. And even if, so the paragraph really needs to, as big as the picture to make it really look nice, and this one is definitely taking care of it, that it actually aligns the text with the image in multiple blocks, multiple paragraphs. And you can certainly do other things in this section in terms of which blocks to come in. So that's still down coming out in the near future, either in 4.0, which is about to release. The release candidate is about to come out. And then it will be in the final version of Gutenberg anytime after that. Another thing that I like from Matthias's list is the more style variations for the core blocks, and especially the multi-selection box. What right now really doesn't work is if you have two paragraphs and you want to highlight both two, you can do that, but there's no way to make both italics or bold or any other formatting that you want to apply to more than one block. It's not possible. So that is in the works. There was quite a, so you can read up about it. So what I really like about this post is that, well, I lost it. What I like about this post that Matthias put together every time, and he does this also for every release note post, is that he links the GitHub issue with it. Yeah, and that's really, really nice. So the next thing I'm looking forward to is the multi-selection toolbar. And then there is no link to the GitHub. I just said this, and then the next item is not linked to anything in GitHub. But that's the cover image overlay that you can have custom colors for that in the text. So you could, if the image is too busy, you can kind of switch around between white and black and any other color in between, but also that you could use a video background component, which is just fabulous. Yeah? So you can do some very interesting designs with such a block in between on your post and pages. There are also screen options through a model. Then, of course, the table block, which is right now very, very basic, and it's even has some bugs in it, and they will release a new version also in 4.0 Gutenberg, but they will also say there is a lot more to be done. And this is actually quite an interesting GitHub repository post or issue post, because it lines up what actually goes into, how much thought actually goes into something that has been around for so long, like a table, and the design issues that come up, the different kind of screen options with the menus and these similar things. And you would think that those problems have already been solved, and they probably have, but not with this new modern JavaScript framework, or with a how would you use it on a mobile device, on a tablet, that's fine. But if you want to do something like that on a phone, it needs to have a total different consideration to a desktop version. And that's very, very interesting to in my point, it's very interesting to read, just kind of not read all of it. Yeah, that's way too technical, but the images tell a lot of stories. So the next thing, drag and drops enhancement, you can always enhance that. They have come a long way with drag and drop in Gutenberg already. Then font size components, so you have, that's actually an interesting iteration on what we already know with right now the font sizes. Yeah, that's actually from a different, now we have small, middle, large, and X large, and so that's will come into a better iteration. Many accessibility tasks need to be complete before it goes, and yes, I think I mentioned it before. that when you use Gutenberg on your posts and you are not the only editor in it, with the classic editor, WordPress warns you that somebody else is looking at it and does not let you edit it. Not so in Gutenberg. So if you use it now on a live site and you have multiple editors, be aware that if two people are in the same post editing, the one who hits update or publish the last wins. Of course, you will have revisions and autosaves, but that will not save you from anything in this regard. So let's see if we have more questions. Nope, no questions here. All right. Okay, so, well, let's look at how can we do a 3-column block. That's the first thing. And then how can we make it reusable? And does it work when I reuse it? It's certainly, and it's demo time, people. So, okay, so I'm gonna switch over here to my screen again. And then I'll go to my little blog post I have. So I opened it already up here. Column blocks is reusable block. Column block is a reusable block. And so what I wanted to do is when I do column block, well, I'm gonna remove. So, and what's also is worked on is that you have a little bit more visual guidelines or guardrails or breadcrumbs, which is the block that you're actually, that's active right now. So it's a little bit guesswork, and sometimes I'm missing things and deleting things, but that's all in the works, and all the problems are kind of known. So I'm going to remove this so I can restart from the beginning. I'll select the columns and be aware it's in beta. The label has not been removed yet. So it is wonky, as that's my favorite technical term. So now we have here on the site, and we have different sidebar. This is actually a paragraph block because that's the first block here. But if I go outside, I have my column block. So, and I want to add, take this up to 3 because I need a 3-column block. Yeah. I don't want to do a text. I want to do an image. Here from the media library, already uploaded it. So just an icon. And I'm going to do the same here. Image. Oh, no, see? I'm going to move this. Oops. So that was how an image drag and drop kind of goes wrong. So an image here from the media library, and that's the one. And then I have here another one and another image, and that's my bathtub. So I found a few icons that I wanted to do, but these are a little bit too big for me. And then this one I want to remove, of course. So, and so hash space gives you a heading without, so you don't have to search for it. And this is the first. Then here, hash heading, second. Then what I also wanted to do is kind of put a lorem ipsum in there. I have a paragraph here. That's probably too long anyway. So I do it a little smaller. Yeah. Go back to my, and then put it in here. And here I still need to do my third header, and then my lower ipsum. All right. So all these, if I switch this off, I can kind of see this a little bit better. Now, of course, up there I have a few blocks here that I need to delete. And you can always delete by going backspace. Oops, maybe not. So, all right. So, what I don't like is that I need to kind of text align those. And then I want to kind of have the height actually of 100 here, 100 here, and 100 here. And then I'll save that. And then I can publish that. And then view the post. So it's not bad. Edit it. Probably want to do this a little smaller here. It's not so overbearing. Oops. Okay. So now we have our 3-column block with 3 images, some headline on everyone, and the distance here is a little too close. That's also something that the Gutenberg team is working on, that there is a little bit more space in between. But if you want to publish it now, you definitely can do the spacing with additional CSS for it. So if you have the problem there. All right, now we make it a reusable block. So we need to highlight the whole thing and then go here and go to the, so each block has its own block options menu with 3 dots there. And then you can click on it, add to reusable blocks. And we call it 3 columns. And save it. All right. That's a good save. It seems to be working. So now I can create a new block. I'll leave that a new post or on a page. I can also do it on a page. Yeah. And then I can grab my inserter and do 3 columns. And here I have them. Now, if I override them, I will also override it on the other. So if I change it right now, I will override it on the other post as well, which I don't want, but I can do this convert to regular block, and then I lose my content. Nice one. Okay. So that didn't work yet, and that's certainly an issue because it shouldn't be. So, but I also can Control C. I hope. Nope. So what I can do is gonna get it from my reusable blocks again. I don't know if you noticed, but there is a slight. So I'm going to remove the block, and I'm going to go here and 3, and there is a little preview, but again, wonky. So of course, so we can reuse the block. Okay, so now we'll publish this one. And this is that. So that was the little demonstration of creating a 3-column block with an icon, a header, and some text, flow text, and so any questions about that? So what do you think? Are you going to use it? Do you like it? Have you tried it before? Any questions? Nope. Okay. So I have been playing with some of the custom blocks, and we can certainly go out and look at one of them. There's a ton of plugins out there that provide additional custom blocks, that things that are not in core, that you can find in the plugin repository. And there are multiple suites out there. So you can have a testimonial block, you can have a team block, you can have a product block, a feature block. So we can look at some of those that are out there. And so the one that I was really excited about is the VR. I do some photography, and my cell phone actually does 360 imaging. And I've never found a way to publish them except through Google Photos and on Google Maps through Google Photos. But I was never able to actually embed it or add them to a blog. So I was really happy when I was able to, Kevin Bazira published his Algorithm 360 image block on the plugin repository. And what it does is, hang on, I need to switch it over so you can see my screen. Before WordCamp Europe, we did some sightseeing in Belgrade, and we went to the temple, the Saint Sava, and it's a new temple, and it isn't finished yet. It has that's the temple on the left-hand side, and that's the cupola in the main thing. But we went to the crypta, and that was already completely finished with mosaic. And you see my husband here holding up his phone. That's when he did his 360 image. And we were able to actually add it to this page. So you can, as a viewer, navigate through it and kind of look at the ceiling of it, which was so remarkable. Yeah, I could really not, and the colors were so vivid. Yeah. It was really, really wonderful. And then the distance, in the distance, there are some people there. So it was huge in terms of the full, yeah. And when you look up at the ceiling or at the walls, these are all mosaics. They were all, it's not painting or so, but they're all mosaics. And I found this really, so if you want to go to the back end of it, so I'll put it on top of this set of pictures, and then I have 3 pictures underneath, so we have a little context on it. So that was what I did. So when I clicked on the edit there, I did post, and now it goes out on the internet and comes back. So it's not on my local system. So first we have a few text, and then here that's the block. And the only options that you have is the width and the dimension of it. And then if you want to recenter, but yeah, those centered or alignment, I'll put them into a standalone thing. And it kind of goes a little bit out here, but this one here is it's just a gallery. a normal gallery with no captions there that has a 3-column gallery. So when I talk about gallery, I know the last time we talked here on this channel about some Gutenberg blocks, some questions were from the gallery. And what I found out this morning was that if I link to the attachment page and Jetpack is enabled, the carousel is enabled, I get the carousel for my gallery. So if I update this and look at the post again, so I have still my, yeah, I just can't enough. I'd love to play with this. Yeah, so. And it was really 360, which I didn't show before. Yeah. Well, anyway, so when I click on this picture, oh, it doesn't. Okay. Well, maybe I don't have it enabled. Let's just double check that. Yeah, so this worked on a so it seems to be depending on the theme, actually, or the context. So this was not working. Okay, yeah, so abandoning that. What other blocks are there? So let's go and go out and see what's out there. So when you go to blocks and install plugins, so most of the, yeah, so there has been best practices when there are custom blocks. They are to be in a plugin and not in a theme, because one wants to avoid what happens with a lot of themes that are not in the repository, that when you switch out the theme from your website, that you have, you're also losing some of the plugins and some of the content. And and you should be free to just change the theme. So when I'll look for Gutenberg, first up comes a few blocks, and one is the Atomic block by Mike Allister, I think, the Stackable blocks, the Advanced blocks, and you can definitely mix and merge, so to speak. But what I also wanted to point out is the Gutenberg Manager, so I'm going to install that. I'm going to install the Atomic blocks, and I'm also going to the Stackable blocks. They have been around for quite a while, and I'm also looking for, is it Poodle Pressed? Blackso, I think was the name. Right, so these should be enough for now. Start plugins, and yeah, we activate them. Activate. So the Atomic blocks have you could use them outside the theme, and which are what I'm doing here, but they are also go with the Atomic block theme, and it gives you a nice tutorial on all things Gutenberg, and then you can go down and look at the description. So you can have a notice block, a testimonial block, an author profile block with and a drop cap block. So you have a little bit more choice to have a few more choices for your drop cap, a button block, which is not all that different from the default blocks at core. but it has one thing, that's the open link in your window, and a few more other settings, and the spacer and divider block, an accordion block. So this is very nice. So I want to kind of point out um, the notice block and the author block. So that's one thing, one plugin. And then the other plugin is the Stackable Ultimate Gutenberg blocks. We skip this for a moment. And this does not give you any details about what blocks to have right now. But we will see how we can distinguish them in our inserter. And then I'll activate also the Gutenberg Manager, because you can see that with that it will have helps you organize your blocks a bit. So you can switch on and off some of the default blocks. So you can say, well, I'm never going to use the quote block, so I wouldn't need to look at that. So I'm not going to use a verse. Yeah, I'm not a poet. I don't use the classic text block. I might share the code, but I have my own separator. Atomic block has a button, so I'm going to disable the button from the default button set. The widgets, and then you could disable some of the embeds that you're never going to do. Yeah, so the funny stuff. We do that: Twitter, Facebook, WordPress, Spotify, probably Vimeo, CloudUp, Daily Motion. No, I won't embed any Hulu, any issue, any Meetup I do, Photobucket I don't, Reddit I don't, Screencast I won't, Slideshare I will, Speaker, that's actually Speaker Deck embeds, and the Tumblr and the WordPress TV I do. So I can save my changes. And then there are additional blocks. Nope, that's under construction and more features coming. So it has not picked up on the other blocks there. But that's what the idea of it is. And I really like that idea, because you guys can get really, really, really when you use some of the, have multiple blocks and you only pick 2 or 3 of each plugin. So blocks galore. So let's see how that looks. So now we have the inserter, of course, gives you additional. And so Stackable and an Atomic block, they created an additional block category where you can then find the additional blocks. Did I say blocks? Yes, blocks. So there's add a button, and then you can paste the URL in there. Here's a URL, and then it's button text. So there is a little bug here. You can't edit the text at the moment. So I will help that, but you could do it centralized. You can do an extra large button, and you can do a square one. You can do rounded squares. So it's a little, but you're not able to kind of pick the radius. So what other blocks do we have from Stackable? See, and those icons are different. They add a few colors to it. So there is a video pop-up. That's pretty cool. So I can upload my or paste the URL. So I could actually go out and grab that YouTube video from last week from my channel. And then, oh, this one. Yeah, that we can put it in here and then try it out. Save the draft. Publish it. Publish. Then view the post. When I click on it, okay. So yes, so I was not kind of planning on this, but it's a nice demonstration how Gutenberg kind of got away. Sorry, the development, the fast iterations on the development on Gutenberg kind of made some of the plugins also a little fragile in terms of bugs, and they need to, the plugin developers need to keep up with Gutenberg in with the changes that come, and always kind of test their blocks in previous in newer versions, so they know they are forward compatible. I know that one of the other suite, Advanced Gutenberg, came out with a new version just a week ago, so it might be and Stackable too. So I realized that. So let's see. Now we have even more blocks in our, but I think we can still handle it. So this didn't work. Nice, remove that. This didn't work. We'll remove that. So let's do, and so the advanced Guten blocks are not in its own category. Did I activate the plugin? Probably not. Yeah, that's the part. I hate when that happens, don't you? So the autosave, because I already deleted stuff. Okay, so let's see what's happening there. Aha, so also colored, an advanced button. And here is the editor encountered an unexpected error. So I guess if you're a content creator, this was a very interesting exercise here. So I guess when you are a content creator and you're still looking for blocks that are a little do different things for your site, you definitely need to test those blocks beforehand. So because they are in different stages of Gutenberg, they were developed when Gutenberg was in different stages along the way. And there were, I don't think that the installation, the number of installations that these plugins have cover a lot of different configurations of WordPress, or different site styles, and all. So if you want to connect with your with the plugin developers, they probably would appreciate a little bit beta testing on their blocks. But it's definitely a risk going out and looking for blocks now. You don't know, and But there was one block that I wanted to show you, and that is with Yoast SEO came out with 2 custom blocks, and they are both very good for your, depending on what kind of site you have. But if you're a business, you definitely have a few FAQs, frequently asked questions, that a broad range of customers always ask about your business. And the other, and that's what Yoast SEO comes with in its 8.2 version, where they released the 2 blocks, FAQ and the how-to. And a how-to is also something that Google puts in the little snippet in the search results for a certain question. So if someone puts in the question, so how to add a block, or how to use Gutenberg, and you have an answer for that in step 1 to 5, then there is a chance that Google displays your answer and the steps on how to do certain things in the search results outside the normal list of links. So I'm going in and show you those 2, because I know they have been tested quite a bit with hundreds of thousands of sites. So I'm going back to my site, install SEO, and then we'll look at the 2 blocks. So, right, okay. Yeah, that's an error message we always like, right? Encounter an unexpected error. All right, install plugins. So we don't have it here, so I will go and go out and look for Yoast. No, I need to do add new. As always, add new, and then Yoast. And of course, it's under the popular, but I know. It's installing. So that's why the reason is that I'm actually using a local installation. So I can actually not have to go out and use the internet so much. So let's see what's in there. Okay. All right. So on new, add new. And this is the frequently, oops. So then, of course, with the inserter, I can do FAQ, comes in here. And they'll have it's fairly easy to, intuitive to look at that. So that where can I get additional blocks? And then the question is, in the WordPress repository, you will find plugins with custom Gutenberg blocks. So, and as an image, the spell repository, right? Be careful and test the various blocks before relying on them for a live site. Some with Gutenberg iterating still in active development. Third-party blocks might be wonky. Okay. So add an image. Well, I'll do a coffee image. Okay. So you can add that. So this could be a screenshot or something like that. And then you can add a new question. So said, when will Gutenberg be merged into core? And the answer is with WordPress 5.0, Gutenberg will be the default editor. Add an image. You don't have to add an image, but I always like that there's an image in there. So let's do this one. Some blocks. Okay. So now you can publish those, the frequently asked questions. And when okay, let's leave it. So, and of course you can style it as you like it, but what it does, it is actually it's the semantic web, so it has the right syntax to make it available for Google to actually look for it as an FAQ kind of block. Yeah, though. So all this up here is pretty nifty, helps you with that. But that's the schema is schema FAQ section, and that's an FAQ section. And then you'll see also the another schema FAQ section, which helps Google identify the pieces of your site that has frequently asked questions or the how-to block. So let's do the how-to as well. So we got a new post. We got blocks. And then we grab the how-to. Here, how-to. And then add a total time. So time needed is probably 1 hour. Then go to we learn how to download new blocks from the repository. So the step title is go to plugins, add a step, search for Gutenberg, select, select the plugin. It's not select, it's install the plugin. You can say install and activate plugin. Insert the block to your post. So this is it's not even an hour, of course. This is more like 5 minutes. And then you could even, so this is already the inserter for the next block. So you can publish that and you'll see, okay, so these are all the steps. And that concludes our demonstration of the Yoast FAQ and how-to blocks, which I find very nice. And in the first iteration, they're already very, very helpful. I'm going to look at the live stream now if there are additional blocks, additional questions that I could answer, and they're not. So let's see if on Twitter there were, nope, there are no blocks. That's good. Okay. So it was good that so for this session, we talked about what's new and the update on the Gutenberg Manager. We talked about the new block that has a new blog. Now that's really kind of confusing, blocks and blog. The new blog that has the statistical data of Gutenberg usage. I demonstrated how 3 columns work right now, and we made it a reusable block. And we had the blocks, the columns were all the same. They had an icon on top, a header, and a little flow text in each of the sections. And because the pictures were all the same height, there was no alignment issues. When I used them previously, I had some alignment issues, but I was happy that I didn't have to do it on live screen. We downloaded 2 additional plugins to show how you get new blocks that you might need for your site. And we used the 2016 theme, and we had a few issues with the atomic blocks as well as the stackable blocks. And then, so I pretty much demonstrated how not to do it or what plugin developers really have to look out for. I also ran in the, when I tried to install the Advanced Gutenberg plugin, and tried to grab one of the, try to insert one of their blocks, I get an unexpected error, Gutenberg error. So there was not a pleasant experience. To end it on a positive note, I talked about the custom blocks that come with the Yoast SEO plugin. One of them is, and there are schema. The schema are in the background of it for them to be used at the Google search engine as FAQ and how-to blocks. And I demonstrated both of them in this live show. So, and that's about it. We'll see each other again on October 12th on this channel, also at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and then that's at 1800 UTC. And I will have a surprise guest coming onto the show, and I will post it on Twitter when we have a confirmation. I won't be able to confirm this until about October 7th or something like that. Depending on the schedule of that person. So I'm not gonna, I tried to get an alternative guest maybe, but that's certainly in the stars. If you are watching this and you're a content creator and you have used Gutenberg quite a bit, I would love to talk to you. And if you wanna come on the show, I'd be happy to schedule you. That would be really helpful. And so it's not only me talking, and when we are more than one, it's always a little bit more interesting because with different viewpoints. And I do have strong opinions, but they're loosely held. So a little back and forth would really liven up the show. It's now 3 o'clock, and I'm leave you to it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you back here on October 12th. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.